Hello teachers! Hello students! How are you there po? Okay, today samahan niyo po ako sa ating new discussions about agriculture. Alright class, our topic for today is all about preparing the soil for planting. When we say preparing the soil for planting, plants are dependent upon the soil for anchorage, water, and nutrients. Good soil is the source of minerals which are necessary for normal growth and development. Preparing the soil for planting is important to succeed in planting. So here is what you can do first. For vegetable, one must consider the good textures and structures of the soil. Deficiency of organic matters or nutrients can be remedied by using animal manure or appropriate applications of lye and fertilizer. So, analyze the soil first to know the type of vegetables which can be adjusted accordingly. If the soil is deep, the roots easily get sufficient anchorage. The deeper the roots can reach, the greater feeding volume is needed. The greater the feeding volume, the better is for the plants. So class, how do you prepare the soil? Here are the things that you can do first. The first one, clean the site by pulling out weeds, grasses, and other obstacles to make planting easier. And then the second one, pulverize the soil to find silt and mix it thoroughly. Apply the compost at the rate of 2 kilograms per square meter of land. That is very important. And then the third one, treat the soil before planting. Some treatment will kill the disease-causing organisms, insects, and some seeds found in the soil. And then soil may be sterilized by boiling method. So what does it mean? Pour the boiling water directly into the soil and cover with paper, canvas, or plastic sheet until it cools. And then the last one, of course, as soon as the soil has cooled, it is now ready for sowing or planting. Okay, now let's move on to the steps on how to transplant seedlings. So, transplanting seedlings is done late in the afternoon or early in the morning when the weather is cool, right? That is our previous discussion. When the sunshine is too hot, it may cause a bad effect on the growth of the plants. Now, the following steps are recommended. The first one, water the seed bags or seed bed to soften the soil. So, what are you going to do? Scoop or lift the seedlings for transplanting. Hold the seedlings carefully using a stick when lifting it from the seed bags. And then, plant the seedlings one at a time depending on the required distance. And then use the starter solutions at the rate of 1 small can per plant poured on the root zone after transplanting. A starter solution is 1 tablespoon of urea fertilizer in a gallon of water. And then, water the plant 4 times a day to prevent drying up during the first 3 days, or 3 times a day also applicable. Now, let's proceed to the care and maintenance of plants. So when we say care and maintenance, we are going to look after the plants. Plants are living things that need to be taken care of in order to grow and survive. How do you care and maintain the plants in your garden or backyard or in the family farm? So here are the process you can do. The first one is cultivation. What is cultivation? It is the soil cultivations refers to the tillage of operations on the soil around rows or plots of planted crops. It is must in planting. It serves several purposes, and then the primary purpose of soil cultivation is to destroy weeds and loosen the surface of the soil so that water can penetrate easily. Next is the weeding. What is weeding? Weeding is weeds are plants that grow in places where they are not wanted, right? Weeds are harmful to plants because they crowd the plants and compete for nutrients, sunlight, water, and space. They are also carriers of insects that may be transmitted to the crops. Destroy weeds during the early part of life of the plants. Control weeds by eliminating them by using a weeding hoe or trowel, or even by hands if tools are not available. Okay, let's proceed to the types of weeds and how to control them. Okay, the first one we have animal weeds. They only reproduce by seeds and complete their growth in one season. They can be controlled by preventing them from producing seeds. Pasturing farm animals, cultivating and hoeing can reduce their development while seeds are still small. Examples of these seeds are wild mustards, crabgrass, and pigweed. Next, we have biennial weeds. These weeds need 2 seasons to complete their life cycles. They usually produce second season of their growth. Then, they die. Biennial weeds can be controlled by ploughing, planting cultivation crops, spraying, and pulling the weeds while they are still small. Examples of these are wild eggplants, goat beards, and wild carrots. And then the third one we have perennial weeds. These weeds live more than 2 years. They require 2 or more seasons to produce both seeds and roots or underground stem. This can be eradicated by means of the right kind of chemical or herbicides. Examples of these weeds are talahib, kogon, quat grasses, and morning glory. Weeding is important in caring for plants, right? Weeding is to remove the weeds that grow around the plants. If this is done, the growth of the plants is not hampered. Weeding destroys the breeding places of insects and pests. The plant crops need not compete for soil nutrients and water, and their quality will be improved. Okay? Now let's proceed to the irrigation. What is irrigation, class? Irrigation is the method in which a controlled amount of water is supplied to plant at regular intervals for agriculture. It is used to assist in the growing of agricultural crops, maintenance of landscapes, and revegetations of disturbed soils in dry areas and during periods of inadequate rainfall. Water is one of the basic requirements in vegetables productions, right? So that little or too much water is harmful to vegetables. Root and fruit development is retarded. If the water continues to dwindle, the plant closes up its photosynthesis operations completely and starts to wilt and eventually die. And then there are 3 general methods in supplying water to the field where farm crops are growing. The first one is the surface irrigation. What is surface irrigation? This is the most common method of applying water in the field. Water is applied in the surface of the soil, either in furrows or by flooding. It is the most economical method used on vegetable crops like beans, soybeans, cowpeas, and other seeded crops. Okay, now let's move on to the subsurface irrigation. Subsurface irrigation, this is an expensive type of irrigation because this is done by laying tile on the ground deep enough to avoid damage when ploughing. This system is applicable only to small areas. Alright, the third one, we have sprinkler irrigation. So, alam na natin kung ano yung sprinkler irrigation. It is water is applied in the form of spray or artificial rain, right? This method uses water efficiently and operation is flexible. So, again, what are those 3 general methods in supplying water to the field where farm crops are growing? The first one is surface irrigation. Second one is subsurface irrigation. And then the last one is what? Very good, sprinkler irrigation. Now let's proceed to the number 4. Applications of fertilizer. So when we say applications of fertilizer, fertilizer is a natural or a artificial substance containing the chemical elements that improve growth and productiveness of plants, right? So the purpose of applying fertilizer is to supply the elements such as nitrogen, what else? Phosphorus, and potassium in the right proportions for the maximum development of vegetables crops. Fertilizer is also applied as supplement to the soil to enhance the growth of plants. It should be applied to the soil before planting. Fertilizer improves the soil conditions also, balances the acidity extent of the soil, and increase the productions of crops. It helps plants produce flower, fruits, and shoots, and helps in developing roots in root crops. Fertilizers are either organic or inorganic. So we have two types of fertilizer, the organic and the inorganic fertilizer. Let's start with the organic fertilizer. Organic fertilizer is the natural fertilizer that comes from the manure of animals, decayed plants. We have types of organic fertilizer. The first one is the animal manure, green manure, and compost. Animal manure, refers to the animal droppings. It is a mixture of excretions of soil bedding that accumulate in poultry houses, swine house, animal stables, and barns. Green manure refers to any part of the crop after harvest left in the field to decay or to be ploughed under, or those put in compost pit to decay as humus and applied in the field as fertilizer. And then the last one is the compost. It consists of well-decayed materials made of green dry plants, grasses, and animal manure used as fertilizer. Alright, now let's proceed to inorganic fertilizer. Yung una, organic fertilizer. Ngayon, inorganic fertilizer. Inorganic fertilizer is the chemical fertilizers sold by agricultural suppliers. They are concentrated forms of plant food that may either be complete or incomplete. Complete inorganic fertilizer contains three major elements: nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. So nitrogen, it is the most important of protein. Phosphorus, it is important in fruit and seed productions and also increases decreased resistance. Potassium is an element essential in the formations of carbohydrates used in great quantities in the productions of root crops and cereals. Incomplete fertilizers are inorganic fertilizers which lack one or two major elements. Okay, now let's move on to the preparing compost pit. So class, this is the example of compost pit. Compost is an organic material consisting of very fine to rotted manure parts and other plant matters. It contains mineral elements needed by plants. Composting is the processing of organic matters like weeds, manure, grasses, leaves, vines, rice hulls, and corn stalks to decompose until they are ready as fertilizer for plants. Compost heap provides a continuous supply of compost or organic fertilizers. So the following are the steps in preparing compost. The first one, we are going to prepare a compost site. Build a shelter to protect the pile from the rain, measuring at least 2 meters by 3 or 4 meters. If this cannot be done, provide covering of the pile with plastic materials. And then gather and prepare the following compost materials like rice straw, corn straw, decayed leaves and kitchen waste, fruits and vegetables peelings. Dump or pile the materials. Pile a layer of grass and kitchen leftover about 12 to 15 centimeters thick to cover the selected area. Level this area thoroughly and pile the second layer, animal manure, about 5 to 8 centimeters thick over the first layer. Make other layers similar to the first two layers until the pile has reached the height of 1.5 meters. And then next, sprinkle the pile with water to make it moist. And then cover the top pile with banana leaves or any materials that can protect the composting materials from rain. Provide breathers like bamboo holes in the middle of the pile to aerate the composting materials. And then the last one, the compost will be ready for use 3 months after the preparation. Okay, Now let's move on to the methods of applying inorganic fertilizers. The first one is band application, top dressing, and foliar applications. We have also broadcast application, basal application, and slag dressing. So what are these class? Band application, it is the fertilizer are put in bands to one or both sides of the seeds or plant. Okay, top dressing, it is used when the fertilizer is broadcast over the growing crops. Foliar application, it is the fertilizer dissolved in water and applied as a spray. This method is widely used to correct the lack of essential elements. And broadcast application, it is the fertilizer is scattered in the field by hand or using a mechanical spreader. Basal application, it is the fertilizer is applied in the soil before planting. Side dressing, it is applying fertilizer beside or around the growing plants. Now let's move on to the types of plant pests under control. Right, the first one we have a chewing insect. When we say a chewing insect, it is they bite a portions of the plant, chew them up, and swallow them. So examples of these insects are cabbage worm, squash bug, cutworm, tomato worm, corn earworm, bean pod bobber, Mexican spotted bean beetles, hoppers, slugs, potato weevil, and beetle. They can be destroyed by spraying appropriate insecticides. And then next one we have sucking insects. These insects have tube-like sucking mouth used to insert into the tissue of the leaf or stem to get the plant juice. Example of these insects are scale insect, onion thrips, bugs, aphids, leaf hopper, flies, and squash bugs. They can be eradicated by spraying recommended pesticides or insecticide. And then the last one, we have plant diseases are commonly caused by fungi driving within the tissue of host plant. They develop and grow in plants and secure nourishment from them. They can be also destroyed and controlled by spraying or destroying with fungicide that will prevent germinations of the spores or kill them before they can enter into the host plant. There are three options for controlling pests in plants. The first one, use of no pesticides. This is a high-risk option. You may succeed in 1 or 2 years, but plant quality will be poor. And then use of organic pesticides. Due to climate conditions and high disease or insect population, consistent productions of high-quality plants or fruits is difficult. Consistent and timely applications of organic pesticides is important to succeed. And then the last one, use of synthetic pesticide. This is used commercially and is the most effective method for consistently producing good quality plants or fruits. So class, before you are going to applying fertilizer or pesticide, you have to consult first an expert on the type of fungicide and insecticide to use. Alright class, you have always to remember this. Engaging in crop productions can help us in our daily needs and can earn additional income for the family. With hectares of land still available for planting various crops, planting vegetables can become a major industry that will not only earn dollars but provide means of livelihood for many Filipinos. There are three methods of planting: the direct method, indirect method, and asexual method. Proper selections of seed results in high productivity, high quality seeds, have high percentage of germination, correct moisture content, and free from pests and diseases. So class, that is the end of our lesson for today. Hanggang dito lang muna tayo. God bless everyone and good day.